Like, you've never seen anything like, so what are your reactions to that? Like,
I mean, it's terrible, but, I don't know, it's just like something that you would see in a movie like from the 60s, but I guess it still happens.
right, he said like 60%, like, do you think that statistic's like accurate?
I bet it's, I mean, that seems staged to me, like, but, I bet it's probably not that blatant, but it probably happens in some form.
Okay, so would you, if you saw it happening, do you think you would, kind of like come to the rescue of somebody who was being harassed like that? Or confront the store owner?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's definitely wrong, and it's, maybe I wouldn't shop there anymore, but it's not like they were, I mean, if they were actually being harassed in some way and not just like, I don't know, like physically or something, maybe I would, but I don't know. I mean, it's terrible, but I don't know that it would do the right thing.
Okay, so what were your reactions to that, being in action?
I thought the lady was pretty mean.
Yeah,
I couldn't believe somebody would act like that. Just because someone didn't told it.
So do you think you would say something to the store?
Oh, I'd say something.
You too, if
Definitely.
you like.
I mean, just that she was so blunt to that. Yeah, because she was very blunt in the video. She was blunt in the video. I didn't agree with it.
Okay. So what if it was just like kind of following them around, like less bluntly in your face about it?
No, probably wouldn't. I mean, if you're going to do it, you know, that's your opinion, then do it in a way that you're not going to offend other people. It's like she was just like, I don't think, you know, your kind of people come in here and stuff starts to go missing. So that was an acted out thing, right?
Yeah, what they do, if you watch the video, is the black lady, the black lady and the store owner are like staged, and they're seeing like how they're going to react to the environment. So it is a little more escalated than like it would be, but I mean, because they say 60% of African Americans have like been affected by this, do you think that's like too high an accurate statement? 60%?
I would say yes, especially in some part of the country. So, maybe not so much. I don't know. That's how I think. I probably think it's accurate. Is that through the whole United States?
I think so. So, what are your reactions to the video?
This is something that happened. That's very common. I personally think. More in the Generation X than Generation Y. Certain stores. The only store I know right now that's got in trouble for this, a lot of Generation Y shop at is Abercrombie & Fitch, and that's just because of that's not a racial statement. That's more of a social. So it's not racial. It's a social concept. So, but yeah, this does happen. I personally never seen it. For TV and videos and things like that.
So do you think you would like step up in that lady's defense, or would you just kind of keep your head down? Like,
oh no, you have to step up to these situations because the only way to handle conflict is to handle. I mean, the only way to get over it is to handle the conflict. It's sides. So I mean, I think I would get up and say something.
Okay. Do you think 60% is accurate, or do you think it's more?
First, I thought it was less. I didn't think it was 60%. That's kind of a big number there. I thought maybe 40, but I don't know. You know.
All right. Okay, what were y'all's reactions to the video seeing it in action? It's rather appalled.
I kind of wasn't surprised today, but at the same time I was.
So do you think if y'all saw it happening, would y'all say something to the store, or come in and try to help the lady out?
I think I just said something to the saleswoman.
Yeah, I probably would have said something to you.
I was just being very ridiculous.
So what if it was more like not as obvious, like maybe just kind of following somebody around and like keeping an eye on them, like would you say something then?
I'm not sure if I'd be paying like enough attention to notice if it was really subtle like that, but if I noticed something that I thought was too blatant, I could say something.
Okay, I don't know if y'all heard, but they said like this happens to like 60% of African Americans. Do you think that number is high or low, or?
I've never witnessed it happening or never, been aware of it happening. It seems high, but
Seems really
at
high
the
to me.
same time,
Alright. So what are your thoughts, like, after seeing something like that? Like, is that racial discrimination? Yeah. It would be. They wouldn't say it to anyone else. Right. So you noticed she wasn't saying it to any of the white customers or something like that. Do you think if you saw that happening, would y'all, like, jump to her defense, or would y'all kind of put your head down and pretend it's not happening? I can afford to shop in a store. I would agree there.
I probably wouldn't say anything. Or I would go up to her later probably. So sorry, like that's
Yeah.
I can't really imagine that being so blatant.
So they said it happens 60% of African Americans. Do you feel like that number is accurate? Like too high, too low?
Yeah, I think once they ask the question, that changes people's minds. And like, if someone asked it, then they'd be like, oh yeah, that probably has happened to me. But like, they would never think it otherwise.
Okay.
I think it's more like, like they'll feel like the shopkeeper like staring at them more. Not like going up and saying something.
Okay,
Yeah,
but do you think it's even that like less obvious, just like keeping an eye on it? Do y'all ever like felt like y'all are being watched by like a store clerk ever? No. Okay. If you were, like, would you say something to them? Like, why are you watching me like that? I'm not doing anything.
I probably I probably just think they were doing their job, watching to make sure nothing gets stolen.
Okay. All right.
I will too.
That's black. I'd rather hear from somebody that's not black.
I think it's just a bias that's just been passed down from generation to generation between the
Your earlier question is really pretty simple. Why does this still occur? It's because racism is still out there. I mean, that's pretty obvious. But when we look at the video, I mean, I'm 42 years old. I've shopped in a lot of different places, upscale, and down from there. And I have never seen a situation that obvious. So, I'm sure that kind of stuff still occurs, but I've never witnessed anything like that. And honestly, in a situation that obvious, I might have said something, but most of the time I probably would stay out of it, because if the security guard's in there, if he's confronting somebody, I'm probably going to just assume that they saw something that I didn't see. Now, when we get to the comments about your type of people, that's a little bit different situation there. But yeah, of course.
You ready? I think that it's still a touchy subject that people like to stay away from, as you can see in this room. And I think that's really the problem there, is because people are still playing. It was very blatant. It's when people think, oh, well, maybe something happened that we didn't see, is when it continues. No, nothing happened that you specifically heard that woman say about her type, and you did say when she got into the part about the type, but it was very obvious from the beginning that the woman hadn't stolen anything. Her words and her actions was about her being black. But when you dismiss it to say, oh, well, I figured the security guard probably saw something I didn't see, then that's when you open it up. Let's just say that woman needed to sue. Then you could have been a good witness. But because you chose to step away because you think the security guard saw something you didn't see, then that leaves that woman to fend for herself. And out of the 20 people, they said out of the 100, that less than 20 that did something, he said the majority of them were minorities. It's because the white people say, they step back and say, well, I really don't want to get involved. And that's the problem. Get involved.
Yeah. Unless you're in one of those
situations,
racist towns. I mean, it probably, like you said, it probably won't be that obvious. But I get what they're saying in the video. It's basically like the whites that's saying it either write it off or they really just don't care. And, that's probably the problem right there. They either write it off as they sensitive or they just use a black card. A lot of times it's not the case.
I see.
It's
on
the
both
overt racism
Yeah.
that is also very obvious to a black person that would
Yeah.
not be as obvious to
Yeah.
you.
No, I
So whereas I would see something, you
I
would think you wouldn't see it.
Mhm.
So it's just like anything else. Until you walk in somebody's shoes, you really don't see it.
Yeah.
When you